Hello, slimes and non-slimes alike. Rosa here. And I find myself in a bit of a strange position when it comes to Dead by Daylight right now. Ever since the PTB for the Judgment has dropped, I've basically been making a daily upload, well, daily, covering just this one killer. It is something that is basically unprecedented on the entire history of this channel. As way back when I did regular Dead by Daylight content, basically before I discovered what For Honor was, I did not do this for basically anyone. I didn't even do this for Vecna, who was my most favorite and highly anticipated chapter in basically ever before the Chorus of Sin. And I haven't done daily upload videos on him even now. But that being said, why am I doing this for the Judgment? Why have I found myself in this position to begin with? Well, 2 years ago, as I just said, I've been making a lot of Dead by Daylight content when I first started out this channel 2 years ago, but since I discovered For Honor, I quickly realized that my, motivation to play Dead by Daylight had greatly diminished, and this is greatly reflected in the hours I have between the two main games of this channel. Dead by Daylight sits at around 400 hours as of today, where For Honor sits at around 1,000 hours. Mind you, I had a 5-month lead of just Dead by Daylight content before I ever even introduced For Honor. But ever since I introduced For Honor, Dead by Daylight has sort of taken the back seat, as I just found my motivation to play the game basically non-existent since I started playing For Honor. But ever since the Grimoire was announced, I found that has sort of changed. Since the Grimoire's announcement, I found myself playing a lot more Dead by Daylight for the sole purpose of gathering background footage so that I could go ahead and discuss the Grimoire at length. This is reflected in a lot of the shorts leading up to the PTB of the Judgment, where you'll find me playing characters like Vecna a whole lot between the time of the Grimoire's announcement and the prototype build that content creators like Hens and Notstarva got to play, to the community live streams covering what the Judgment is capable of. All of that was background footage I gathered for the sole purpose of having background footage to talk about something I was actually very passionate about. It is the reason why in the weeks leading up to the pre-TB, I have basically been non-stop hyper-fixating on this killer, and it's why even to this day, I still think that the Judgment is going to be my first P100 character. But ever since the PTB has closed, I found myself in this strange limbo where I want to play Dead by Daylight, but the reason why I want to play it isn't there. I only really want to play the Judgment, but the Judgment isn't in the live game yet, so I have no reason to play the game. And so I'm left in this limbo state where I just keep making content on the Judgment to sort of satisfy this need to play the Judgment. And you see where this whole thing gets messy, right? I'm playing this game for no better reason than to play it until the reason why I want it is here. This has gathered to me getting nearly 14 million blood points, left completely unspent since the anniversary of Dead by Daylight, which only sit there for the sole reason of being spent on a killer who is yet to be introduced. That is where I sit on Dead by Daylight right now, and it is a position that frankly sucks. It sucks so much that I have decided to make an entire video complaining about how much it sucks. Real interesting stuff here, I know. But that kinda concludes everything. I was originally planning to have enough footage for the PTB, well, not for from the PTB to last me from the PTB to the live release for the Judgment, But that simply just didn't end up happening due to the fact that I was helping my sister move into her college dorm, and also the fact that I work a job. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I need money in order to pay for the chapter, so I had to work a job. Who would have thunk it? But, between those two things, I did not really have that much time to go ahead and play nearly as much Dead by Daylight as I wanted to last me for this drought period. Which is why this video sort of exists. I'm basically out of Judgment footage at this point in time. I have like 3 games left on the killer, and honestly, there isn't really much else to talk about at this point. Most of my main talking points I plan on saving for dedicated videos when I can have more experience under my belt. For example, a tier list video for the Judgment, or just an overall viability thing for them. The 100 games as the Judgment video that I promised when the Judgment was first announced to be coming in August 24th. I said I was going to do 100 games of the Judgment. I posted several shorts about it, and, you know, I still gotta make that when the Judgment drops, and I'm still gonna make that when the Judgment drops, but can't do that now because, well, the Judgment isn't fucking here. And then, of course, we have the elephant in the room, whether or not I'm going to be the world's first P100 Judgment player. Because that is also something I want to try and achieve. And although I've made a very similar promise in the past, specifically when talking about Virtuosa and For Honor and being the world's first Rep 100 Virtuosa player, that didn't end up happening because life. Life just kind of happens. There's not really much else to say to that. Even though I really do like Virtuosa, I just never ended up having the time necessary to grind them out to such a high level. And chances are I'm probably not going to be able to do the same for the Judgment, as it takes nearly 3 months to even get a character up to P100 from nothing. Even with my huge blood point lead of nearly 14 million, there's no way I'm going to be able to be the world's first P100 Judgment player, especially if a content creator like One Pump Willie wants to be one. Because, you know, they make a job off of playing this game, and I don't. But, no shade to the guy, I should say. That kind of came off as sort of jealous. I just want to make it clear, if he becomes the world's first P100 Judgment, I do not care. I would not care. Being the world's first P100 in any killer is honestly not that big a deal, let's be real. It's just bragging rights on the internet at the end of the day, but, you know, I wouldn't mind being the world's first P100 Judgment, just saying. But, I forgot what I was originally gonna say. Yeah, I wanted to be... No, that's not what I'm talking about. Most of the points that I wanted to talk about on the Judgment have already been spoken to death, or I'm planning to reserve for basically a video for when the Judgment is released officially. And are, well, not like officially, but like, you know, live. You know what I mean. Basically, stuck in this limbo state where both my content creation, where I want to surround it, where basically I want my content to surround the Judgment, but the Judgment isn't live and I'm out of footage for them. But also, the games that I want to play, I don't really want to play because the reason I want to play them is also not here. It's weird. It sucks. I've just been in this limbo state for like a week now, and I figured I just might as well go ahead and make a video complaining about it. That's the whole gist of this video, honestly. I might make another video on the Judgment, specifically reacting to one content creator's video on them, because I think that video was atrocious. I'm not gonna name who in the case that I end up scrapping that video, but who knows, I might make that happen, maybe, we don't know. But don't expect daily videos on the Judgment, at least not until they go live. And, yeah, that basically sums up everything. I'll go ahead and I'll see you all next time. Cheerio.